What would you do if you suddenly won the lottery? Or how would you react if one day you woke up to realize that you inherited a fortune? Would you go out and buy a lot of stuff that you don't need? Or would you put a lot of that money in the bank and start saving? Apparently, a lot of people go crazy whenever they have too much money in their hands. And sometimes they end up buying stuff that they don't need. In fact, it's stuff that no one actually needs. In today's video, we'll be looking at completely useless things only rich people would buy. Our first entry is luxury ice. While most of us only pay a few dollars for a big bag of ice, rich people actually pay around $325 for only 50 cubes. That makes each cube worth about $6.50. The brand selling this luxurious item is called Glace Luxury Ice. They say that their idea for fancy ice is to prevent rich people from having the regular ice made with tap water that may have a lot of impurities not good for our bodies. You know, our peasant ice. The luxury ice is purified and it comes with a resealable package. I guess it's a good addition to a glass of fancy liquor, but come on, having regular ice is not that bad. Although, to be fair, it's not as bad as our next entry, aircraft timeshares. Back in the day, people could pay $250,000 to get lifetime access to first-class seats in any American Airlines flight. Additionally, they could pay an extra $150,000 for a companion. Unfortunately, this program cost the airline a ton of money, funnily enough. Two of the pass holders made them lose about $1 million per year, and overall, financial experts call this program a huge disaster. While American Airlines doesn't offer this type of lifetime benefit anymore, there are around 60 people who still have their passes. Our next entry is home libraries. One of the more impressive things that you'll find in many homes of millionaires is their personal library. With so many books and so many titles, you might think of the people in that house as highly cultured and sophisticated. But don't let the looks fool you. A lot of rich people buy their custom-made libraries from a company called Books by the Foot that sells curated libraries in bulk. Gets even more expensive though when you find out they charge $250 per foot of literature. You just have to tell them what genres, colors, and looks you're interested in, and they will send you your pre-made library so you can impress your guests. But what's the point of having books that no one reads? $24,000 haircut. Male haircut prices range anything between $5 to $30 or $50, depending on how fancy the place is. But how different can it be if you pay more for it? Will people be able to tell the difference between a cheap haircut and an expensive one? Personally, I'm a guy. I can't tell the difference because I don't really care. For some reason, though, the Sultan of Brunei was eager to pay $24,000 for a haircut. He flew his barber all the way from central London to Southeast Asia just to get his hair trimmed. Yeah, $24,000 is like nothing for one of the richest men in the world, but it's hands down the most expensive haircut I've ever heard of. Gold-plated phone. So how do you stand out when you already have the latest phone? Well, of course, you're covered in gold. And that way, the people around you will know that you have a lot of money. It also tells them that you're pretty extra. In all honesty, covering your phone in gold doesn't really make it more efficient or reliable. A gold-plated phone works the same way as every regular phone does. If the network is down, you're not going to be able to make phone calls, even if your phone looks expensive and gaudy. Our next entry is new cars. When people have parking space for more than 100 cars, it makes you wonder if they actually use those cars at all. Or, you know, they just want to show off whenever they have visitors around. Every time we talk about rich people's homes, we hear about their huge parking lots and all of the cars they keep. But do they drive those cars at all? Cars become useless if we don't use them, and once again, the Sultan of Brunei stands out. He has a private collection of 7,000 cars with an estimated value of $5 billion. 7,000 cars! He could drive a different car each day of the year and he'd still have thousands of untouched cars. You know, actually crunching the numbers in, he'd actually have a different car for about 19.17 years. I don't even know what to do with my own car at the time. Our next entry is expensive water. Water is available in pretty much every supermarket and a gallon costs around $1. But of course you might want to get a fancier bottle of water if you're one of the richest people on Earth. And if that's the case, then you'd be looking at a bottle of water that costs $60,000. The name of the brand is Acqua di Cristallo Tributo e Montegelline, and it's expensive because it's sourced from springs in Fiji and France and glaciers in Ireland and is very difficult to pronounce. The more difficult to pronounce and stupid sounding it sounds, the more expensive it is. Our next entry is the AURORA Diamante Fountain Pen. Fountain pens make your writing look classy, if you have good handwriting, that is. That's why they're normally a bit more expensive than regular pens. They can cost between $2 to $10 or $15 depending on the brand and the features, but there's a fountain pen that is more expensive than all of those combined. It is the AURORA Diamante fountain pen, and this one doesn't cost $5, $10, or even $100. No, this little trinket costs $1.3 million. The tiny pen is covered in diamonds with an 18-karat gold nib and is personalized with a coat of arms, a signature, and a portrait. Some people would say this is more like a jewelry piece rather than a pen. Though that's nothing compared to the Submarine sports car. Just look at this Submarine sports car, which was inspired by James Bond's sub Lotus, and it can travel at speeds of 75 miles per hour underwater. This car is valued at $1.5 million, so I think I'll stick to scuba diving and snorkeling. I don't need a fancy car to explore the ocean. Our next entry is the finest socks. The vicuna is a South American camelid related to the llama, which is believed to be an ancestor of domesticated alpacas. And apparently, their fur is used to make one of the most expensive and high-quality fibers on Earth. With it, you can make the most expensive pair of socks, which cost more than $3,000. But will anyone check your feet to see how expensive your socks are? Unless they're weirdos, I don't think so. However, this material, which is said to be the most valuable wool in the world, promises to keep your feet comfy, and they'll be sent to you in an elegant wooden box. Our next entry is John Lennon's tooth. Okay. John Lennon gave his tooth to Dorothy Jarlett, his housekeeper, so she could give it to her daughter, who was a huge fan of the Beatles. The years passed and the Jarlett family decided to sell the tooth for more than $30,000 to a Canadian dentist. Some people weren't happy about this decision, but the Jarlett family said that they had way more meaningful gifts from Lennon, so selling the tooth wasn't so bad after all. The question is, what did the Canadian dentist do with the tooth? He paid quite a lot for it. Our next entry is the LV skateboard. The Louis Vuitton skateboard is not like any other skateboard you've seen before. While most skateboards are used on the street, this one stays on the shelves, away from the dirt and other things that can ruin it. And that's because it costs more than $8,000. People usually pay anything between $70 and $150 for these things. $170 if it's made with some special material. But $8,000 is way beyond a regular person's budget, especially if it's not going to be used at all. Our next entry is gold toilet paper. There is a company in Australia that sells 22-karat gold toilet paper rolls. Each roll is $1.3 million and each 3-ply wiper is covered in golden flakes. Apparently those 22-karat golden flakes will fall on the floor and all over you as you wipe yourself. It sounds like an unnecessary luxurious mess, especially when a regular roll can be less than $1 if you buy them in bulk. And honestly, mine works just fine. I don't see the need for gold. Now it's time for today's best pick. Rich people are obsessed with gold, and the things that we found in today's list are proof of that. The picture I chose for the day is very representative of the recent pandemic times. While regular people wear regular masks, some rich people decide to wear gold masks. Even the most challenging times won't stop a wealthy person from bragging about the money they got. There's a man in India from a city called Cuttack who went and got a gold mask that's valued at around $4,500. The man's so obsessed with gold that he's often wearing chains, watches, caps, and many other accessories that are either lined or made out of pure gold. But he's not the only one who's got a fancy mask. Some people in Surat, India also got masks made out of diamonds and other pricey jewels that made them stand out among the crowd. Also probably get mugged. And then there's the most expensive mask during the pandemic. It was manufactured by an Israeli company called Yavel, and with a price tag of $1.5 million, it's covered in diamonds and gold as expected. Before we move on, do me a favor. My analytics show that only about 15% of you watching are actually subscribed. Come on guys, what's up with that? Can you guys please hit the subscribe button? You guys watch my videos every day anyway, so you might as well subscribe and keep up to date with every video we put out. Our last and probably stupidest entry is golden poop. Whether we're rich or not, we all need to use the bathroom at some point during the day. But when you're rich, you can make the experience a bit fancier if you can afford golden poop. That's right, for only $425, you can buy a pill that covers your poop in a golden coat. But that means you'll need a pill every time you need to use the bathroom, so you'll probably need to get dozens of pills per month only to make things fancier. Is it necessary? No. Is it cool? Debatable. Rich people really do love useless things, but I do think many of us would buy some of these things if we had that much money. Which of these things would you get if you were a millionaire? And what's the first thing you'd buy if you were suddenly given $1 million? Let us know in the comments section down below. With all that said and done, that's our video for today, folks, and I will see you all next time. Later, everybody!